Are you a member or have ties to extremist groups or organizations? No. Are you ready to begin?
You think I'm sick?
Politics and science make the worst of friends.
They do not want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much. That is why our country and our world has become so proliferated with entertainments, mass media, game shows, television shows, amusement parks, drugs, alcohol, and every kind of entertainment to keep the human mind entertained so that you don't get in the way of important people by doing too much thinking. You had better wake up and understand that there are people who are guiding your life and you don't even know it. But we're all too busy trying to stay alive and live our lives. And after all, what can one person do about it?
The fleas are placed inside the jar. They are left undisturbed for 3 days. Then, when the jar is opened, the fleas will not jump out. In fact, the fleas will never jump higher than the level set by the lid. Their behaviour is now set for the rest of their lives.
The amount of indoctrination that's happening in schools and universities is, I think, far beyond what parents realize. Parents are just generally not aware of what their kids are being told.
Never educate a person you're going to dominate. That's a no-no. You train them. So we're trained to hold jobs. We're trained to be taught a certain way. We're not trained so that you can begin to create.
Education was turned from being the transmission of a culture down through the generations into the overturning of a culture on the basis that the culture was illegitimate, racist, colonialist, and all the rest of it. And we are where we are.
So knowledge and wisdom are increasingly unacquainted.
Truth has become a right-wing concept. You cannot say it, because if you say it, you are considered right-wing, and to be right-wing is to be in league with the forces of evil.
Do you think grades are important?
I think grades are garbage.
Really?
Yeah, totally. Because the way we assess kids over and over again, exam, quiz, exam, as opposed to really seeing if they're absorbing the ideas, if they can take in the information and do something with it, as opposed to just repeat what they did on a homework assignment. I can't stand the way we assess kids.
You don't need college to learn stuff, okay? Everything is available basically for free. You can learn anything you want for free. It is not a question of learning. I think colleges are basically for fun and to prove you can do your chores, but they're not for learning.
Schools train people to be ignorant with style. They give you the equipment that you need to be a functional ignoramus. Schools do not equip you to deal with things like logic. They don't give you the criteria by which to judge between good and bad in any medium or format. And they prepare you to be a usable victim for a military-industrial complex that needs manpower. As long as you're just smart enough to do a job and just dumb enough to swallow what they feed you, you're going to be all right. But if you go beyond that, you're going to have these grave doubts that give you stomach problems, headaches, make you want to go out and do something else.
What's the alternative for the parent who would agree with you?
Well, remember that the school isn't the only place that a child gets educated. If you realize that the schools are doing damage, and I believe this, I believe that schools do a lot of damage to kids, then you should do what you can at home to help give them something to counteract what's happening to them at school.
You mean encourage creativity?
Encourage them to read things other than what the school gives them. Encourage them to watch things on television other than cartoons, because I don't believe that television is all bad, and some things that are on are very useful. And give them some support. Let them feel that you as a parent want them to be smart, not just to be successful, not just to be a nice little person, that you want them to develop their thinking apparatus.
Why do we spend 14 years at school, kindergarten, junior, middle school, high school, learning things that will be of no value that you can look up on the internet. You know, my daughter had to learn the capitals of all the states and the names of the rivers in Canada going from left to right or west to east or whatever. Why? You can look that up. And anyone who learned those things, if you ask them now, they probably don't remember. And what consequence? But they didn't teach our kids how to balance a checkbook. You know, in fact, checks aren't used that much, but how to balance a bank account or how to figure out how much you've got there or how to make a transaction. The things that I think would be really useful, they don't teach.
Global Education 2000 was designed to increase our children's learning capacity while decreasing their ability to critically analyze. That way they would just readily accept whatever they were told without any question and just take all the information in.